Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us here for Combat Quest Boxing 3 Road Trip 8. We're here in beautiful, historic downtown Fort Myers at the Sidney and Byrne Davis Art Center, and we are ready for some action here tonight. We've been loading up, waiting a little while for this one to come around. We've had the dog fights, we had dog fights too, but now we're back here in the 239 for some combat action, and I cannot wait. How you feeling, Juice James?
Listen, you guys can feel the energy in this room. I came in a little bit earlier, and people are already popping. They're seeing their favorite fighters come in the octagon. They're ready to see some blows thrown. They're ready to see some blood. They're ready to see some bones breaking, some heads banging. Like, it's going to be a great event today.
Absolutely. I mean, every single time we come to the 239, there's no doubt that we rock the house. I don't know what it is about the energy here in South Florida, but things are just a little bit different whenever Vigilant MMA comes to town. People are excited. The fans are here, and we're ready to go. But, guys, we have some great fights coming your way tonight. We're opening up with Combat Quest Boxing 3. This is going to be exclusively Muay Thai kickboxing and a boxing event. So to start that off, we have one of, it happens every now and then. We don't see them too often, but we have two females who are stepping up to the plate tonight in some Muay Thai kickboxing action. We have Grace Mclin making her debut here today from Ignite MMA, but her opponent is no short order because she is going up against Arlette Estrada from right here in the 239 from Futures MMA. And Futures MMA has built themselves a little bit of a reputation for being a killer gym. But Arlette Estrada has decided to go out and carve out her own reputation after she made her debut back at Dog Fights 2. She went ahead and got a third-round TKO win over her opponent and really carving her name out.
She's a scary woman.
Absolutely.
I want to say she's the man, but no, that doesn't do it enough justice, especially with International Women's Day that just passed. She is the woman.
Absolutely.
And she's here to continue to make a name for herself in the sport and show what Futures is all about. But Grace, I saw her warming up, and she looks like she's ready to go. She's got a good group of people behind her helping her get through this. This is her first fight. She's ready to make a name for herself as well.
Absolutely. I mean, as we said, it's going to be two badass women going up against each other, and we can't wait to see it. But Arlette Estrada also has her opponent, Bryant Peschel, fighting out of Futures MMA, is going to be competing in our co-main event tonight. He's going to be going up against Darius Scoutt in a kickboxing matchup. And right now, Bryant Peschel has been on a little bit of a roll, actually. He's had 2 victories in a row. He hasn't had a loss yet, but he has 1 draw, unfortunately. But 2 victories in a row, looking to make it a third, coming from such a strong gym. I mean, the last time we saw Darius Scoutt, unfortunately, he was on the losing end in our debut matchup of a modified bare knuckle here at Vigilant MMA. That was at Dog Fights 2. So, I mean, Darius Scoutt coming off of that loss, Bryant Peschel rolling off of a win. It seems like both of them are kind of heating off of momentum. Darius is trying to get on the winning track. He's going to make his debut here in kickboxing today. How do you feel about that fight?
I talked to both of these guys leading up to this event. Listen, Darius, if not for nothing, he's a tough dude.
Absolutely.
He keeps coming back. He really wants to make this work.
Right. We'll
see tonight if he's able to make this a real thing for him or if the idea of fighting is better for him.
Right.
Now, for his opponent, he looks ready to go. I talked to him a little bit earlier this week through social media. He's a man of not a lot of words.
Yeah.
He just says it how it is, but he's ready to show up and show that he doesn't need to talk because everything happens that happens in the octagon does the speaking for him. He's ready to go.
Absolutely. Bryant Peschel has a little bit of a crowd here today rooting for him. Hometown favorite. We saw him warming up earlier. His family and his crowd was going crazy over here.
Big pop.
Just for him. But that's going to be nothing compared to the main event tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You want to talk about the hometown hero, the homegrown boy. The Dominator Aldo Dominguez is coming back for his return to Vigilant MMA. This kid is so far, I say kid, this young man, 10-0, undefeated. He's your current 150-pound kickboxing champion. He's a multi-promotion champion. I believe over 3 different promotions he holds titles. And, I mean, he has been an unstoppable force since day one here in Vigilant MMA. However, this is going to be one of his toughest opponents to date in Tyler Kent. Tyler Kent has had 7 Muay Thai kickboxing matchups so far, and he's won 6 of those. He's a very, very versatile fighter. He's won each of those fights either by decision or by knockout. Every single time he's coming out on top. It doesn't matter. So There's a lot of action lined up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Guaranteed fireworks. We've got championships on the line, title eliminators, and this is just Combat Quest Boxing 3. There's still Combat Quest Boxing. Combat Quest 33 coming your way later on this evening. So do not go anywhere. Make sure you go to vigilantmma.co, vigilantmma.co, so you can watch the pay-per-view, or you can get tickets to the next event live. But for now, this has been El Segundo Luis Soto alongside the Fatty Daddy superstar Juice James. We're going to get the fights rolling in just a few minutes.
Get your pets spayed and neuters, people.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for our national anthem, courtesy of Siren Vox.
Here she comes.
Hi. Welcome. Where am I supposed to stand? This way? Towards you guys? You guys are in for a big treat. Up there. Okay. I want you guys to sing this with me if you can. Hang on one second. Anybody have a water real quick? Real quick. All right. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Come on. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Combat Quest Boxing 3. With the formalities out of the way, we are about ready to start off with our first fight of the night.
Welcome, everyone, to the beautiful Sidney and Byrne Davis Arts Center for CQ Boxing 3, brought to you by Vigilant MMA and sanctioned by Global Fighting Solutions. Tonight's commissioner has been on major networks such as History Channel, ABC, and Discovery, and you can catch him on Real Treasure Hunters, Michael Gutosu. Your referee in charge of the action today will be Jose Lugo. Judges cage side will be Dave Grant, Lauren Hennessy, and Jeff Santella. Big ups to our cage queen Samantha, our DJ Serve One, production team Justin and Sean, and we're protected today by Blackhorn Security Services. At this time, we kindly remind you there is no live videography during the fights, only before and after. You will be excused from the event after an initial warning. Please don't ruin your afternoon. Now, it's time to rock this cage. Our first bout of the evening takes place in the Vigilant Muay Thai light heavyweight division. Introducing first, Mike Fabela.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting off the night with some Muay Thai kickboxing. Combat Quest Boxing 3 is kicking off with this man right here, Mike Fabela, making his way to the cage for his debut fight. This is going to be in the 179-pound kickboxing division. He's representing Warriors Academic Independence, walking in here today. And seems like he might be missing his theme music, but doesn't matter to him. It looks like he's still calm, collected, and ready to go here today.
Now, listen, I talked to the head coach over at Warriors today, and his team looks ready to go. He looks ready to go. He's very excited to come in and show what his team can do. I've talked to him many times before, and he really knows his stuff about fighting.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a solid coach in your corner, a good team, it gives you every foundation that you need to be able to step into the cage. And hopefully he's ready to do just that as he's making his debut here today against his opponent, this man.
And now introducing Joel Hill.
So here we have Joel Hill, and you could hear from the roar of the crowd, this is a hometown fighter. Joel Hill's going to be making his debut to us here today, representing Futures MMA.
Everybody here loves Futures. Everybody loves what they put out. They are the hometown team. And he's looking to make the team proud. He's looking to make the town proud.
And you can see some of the Futures fighters alongside their coach Rodriguez. You can also see Bryant Peschel there in the background, who's going to be fighting in the co-main event later on for Combat Quest Boxing 3. But right now, all eyes are on Joel Hill as he's getting his final preparations from Coach Rodriguez before he makes his way into the cage.
He hasn't taken his eyes off of his opponent. He looks ready to go. He looks ready to kill somebody.
Yeah, I mean, when you're focused and you're locked in, I mean, one of the things that's got to be hardest about your debut is being able to try to channel those nervous energy, just try to block out everything that's happening around you and really, like, lock in on the fight. And it seems like he's doing that just fine right now. It seems like he's calm, collected, and if not, he's got a great poker face.
As somebody who's tried both ways, to kind of get my mindset right for a fight, for a match, whatever it is. I've come in really focused and determined and kind of put the gimmick aside. I've learned for myself, I like to be loose. I like to know, whatever happens is going to happen. I've done all the work that I need to, and it's just time to come in and do our thing. But, with your debut fight, you got to figure out what it is exactly you need to get into the right mindset to get ready to not only perform, but to essentially force and impose your will on another human being.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, if you can't clear that mental cloud, then all the work, all the basics, all the training that you've done, to actually get to this moment kind of go out the window. If you really can't focus your mind, if you can't control yourself first, you're not going to be able to go off of what your coach has taught you this entire time. So
I tell you what, getting that slap in the face might throw me off a little bit, but that's what Futures does.
And here we go. Both fighters in the cage now, Mike Fabela and Joel Hill. And let's send you up back to our announcer for the official introduction of these fighters.
In our first bout of the afternoon, introducing first, fighting out of the Tea Time blue corner, a mixed martial artist representing Warriors Academy Independence all the way from KC, Missouri. Making his combat sports debut, give it up for Mike Fabela. And fighting out of the Seacrest Water Tiki red corner, a striker representing Futures MMA right here in Fort Myers. Also making his combat sports debut, give a vigilante welcome to Joel Hill. Your referee in charge, Jose Lager.
Now, after the introduction from our announcer, Kelvin Garcia, we are ready to get things rolling here for Combat Quest Boxing 3. Again, Mike Fabela in the blue corner, Joel Hill in the red corner. Cage doors are locked and sealed. And we are ready to go. Immediately teep kick that puts Fabela to his feet.
I mean, that's one way to get in the mood, right?
I mean, that's one way to start things off, really assert dominance right out the gate. Huge knee lands to the body, but Fabela trying his best to fight back. Has some nice pressure, nice standing switch there. Big knees there coming from Hill. Little dump on Fabela. We get a break here from our official. It's going to be 3 2-minute rounds here from Whiteside. Nice knee there in the exchange.
And again, we have that classic
big knees
battle of two different builds.
Huge knees landing there from Hill. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hill a more tall, slender frame. Fabela a little more compact. But Fabela's doing his best to fight back. It seems like he's been kind of off his back foot from the beginning since he got caught with that element of surprise from that teep kick.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no way to plan for something like that unless you know, especially with another debuting fighter. You know, some fighters like to come out hot like that.
Right.
And you can plan around that if you know that's coming. But when you don't know that's coming, you know, it throws everything off.
Nice combo there, lands cleanly from Joel Hill.
And Fabela, he ate it though. It didn't look phased at all.
Big head kick, wobbles Fabela, drops him. But he gets a standing 8 count here. That was a beautifully placed and beautifully timed head kick from Joel Hill. Looks like Fabela is still good. Gonna get a check from our official after the standing 8 count. He's back in this one.
Shades of Francis Ngannou.
Close miss on that switch kick. But it seems like Joel Hill just smells blood in the water because, I mean, he wants that knockout. He has already a taste of it, but 10 seconds here left in the first round.
Nice. Fabela really just wants to make it to the next round, catch his breath, really calm down, catch his wits about him because he got knocked for a loop, that's for sure. And the ref could have absolutely stopped it right there. It could have been a full knockout right there, but he's given them the chance to work for it and really show that he's supposed to be here.
Yeah, and I mean, Mike Fabela, it seems like he's already been dropped twice. The first time from that teep kick, he fell, and then after that, he got the drop from that head kick. So it looked like he's going to have to want to come back in this second round to try to gain some respect back because, I mean, after getting knocked down, you saw the picture-perfect placement on that head kick from Joel Hill. And, I mean, you got to want to come back and try to earn that back because right now Joel Hill's probably feeling confident. He's probably thinking, I've got him. You know, this is it. This is what I got to do. So Fabela has to know that he's already down those 2 knockdowns. He's got to get it back.
And there's only one way to get it back. Knock him down yourself or knock him out yourself.
Absolutely. And here we go. Corners are going out of the cage. Doors will be sealed and we'll be ready for round 2 of action of your opening bout for Combat Quest Boxing 3 here from the beautiful Sidney Byrne Davis Art Center, historic downtown Fort Myers. Try to go for that big surprise attempt again, but seems like Fabela was able to wise up to it a bit. Fabela fires off some knees of his own, but one from Hill. Both fighters landing a couple shots in the exchange. Hill firing off 2 knees back-to-back. That's 4 knees unanswered. Fabela trying to go for the standing switch, but Hill wise to it, and it looks like it was a low blow on that knee. Fabela doubled straight over.
Definitely unintentional. I like to think it is.
For sure. I mean, that kind of thing happens when you're throwing a lot of kicks and knees, especially in Muay Thai. And especially with the height difference, I mean, throwing could be going for the leg. Sometimes you might catch the inner thigh. Sometimes you might catch, and unfortunately, it looks like he did there. But he's going to get 5 minutes if he needs it.
Yeah, ref's telling him. I know it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
Just
Look
stay cognizant of it.
For sure. If it does happen again, there was a stoppage. I believe our clock will be set back to about 1 minute and 30 seconds if I'm not mistaken. And we are back underway.
And Joel really likes to come out with a big kick right off the start. And I mean, I guess when you have kicks like that, might as well use them, right?
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you got those long legs, especially if you can use your reach advantage like he had in the first round. But right now, Fabela's doing a good job closing that gap. Both fighters firing off knees. Fabela trying to land a couple punches in the exchange. Joel gives him a few out. Tries to go for that head kick again,
block.
narrowly blocked, but still firing at free will is Hill.
Nice
Fabela
leg kick.
places a nice inside leg kick. It's that big overhand right. Joel Hill ducks right out the way. Goes for it again, and Hill wise to it again. Hill still firing off those knees, finding a home in the body for Hill every time.
And I didn't see where the low blow came.
Unfortunately, I didn't see that one either, but that's going to be 2 in the same round for Fabela. If it does happen again, I mean, it's at the referee's discretion, but it could result in a disqualification or in a loss of points.
Right, and so if he was fighting somebody a bit more his size, those knees would be right. Those knees and kicks would be right in the midsection where they're supposed to be. But with there being such a height disadvantage, height discrepancy, I mean, what you're aiming for, what you think is their midsection, and you're getting them right in the family jewels. I think there was about 27 seconds left on the clock when this one happened.
And this is going to give both fighters to take a quick breath, get their bearings about themselves.
Well, we know both of these fighters are going to be sore tomorrow.
No, I mean, at the very least, I mean, sore in some different ways, but sore nonetheless.
So it looks like first round we had 2 knockdowns, second round 2 low blows. I mean, pretty even right now.
Little boxing exchange here. 10 seconds left in the round, I believe.
Oh,
big
nice
uppercut lands.
And I'll give Mike Fabela the credit where credit's due. He's got a chin on him.
There's a 10-second marker. And please apologize us for mixing up the times here, ladies and gentlemen, with the stoppages. There's the stop of the second round. And I mean, not exactly the way that anybody really pictured that second round going, but we're going to have to see what this third round is going to dole out for us. I mean, we've seen Hill already take 2 low blows, just as you were mentioning, to Fabela having to take 2 knockdowns in the first round. We were going to see the replay here.
Oh, that was right.
Directly to the groin area of Joel Hill. I mean, there's no discounting that one. But either way, Joel Hill still in this fight. There hasn't been any loss of points or disqualification calls, so we're going to keep things rolling into the third round.
So it looks like Fabela had his knee up, going for a knee, and at the same time, Joel Hill went to throw a kick, and he just came right into his knee. So it definitely wasn't either one. Definitely weren't intentional, but the second one was definitely not a placed knee, if that makes sense.
Here we go. We got the corners out of the cage. Doors will be sealed up for the third and final round of your opening bout for Combat Quest Boxing 3. Again, Fabela in the blue corner, Hill in the red.
Big leg kick.
Doubling up on that kick is Hill. Big head kick, kind of glances off the head of Fabela. Fabela wore it well, though. Nice catch on the teep kick. Ducked into a straight right. Big knees coming there from Hill in the clinch. Meanwhile, Fabela's doing his best to tee off with the punches, but Hill's giving him some good boxing for measure. Hill lazily throwing that head kick. It looks like Hill might be getting a little bit tired.
He's definitely gassed.
I don't blame him. He's had a lot of activity going on in the first 2 rounds, especially in the beginning of this third.
And this
if
is
he
where,
wants that
where
knockout,
Mike needs to press the pace now.
Absolutely.
He sees that. He should be attacking. You know, when you see a weakness like that, once you notice it, you need to be like a shark in the water.
Have to capitalize on it.
Taking advantage of anything you can take advantage of.
Big knee land there from Fabela, but Joel Hill dumping him as he walked him back to the opposite side of the cage. Gives Joel Hill a second to catch his breath, which is exactly what he needs right now, at least is what it looks. Landing a nice 1-2 combo down the middle, circling out with the right. Throws a beautiful head kick, narrowly blocked there by Fabela. Hill almost got the chip there.
And now it looks like they're both just exhausted and ready for the round to be
over. And I don't
over.
blame him. It's been a long fight. It's been a very physical fight so far. I mean, it's a lot of energy, exertion, throwing each and every single one of those kicks, each and every single one of those punches, every single one of those knees. A big head kick there from Hill, but Fabela still able to fight forward. Tried to go for it again, catches him off the shoulder. 10 seconds left. Both fighters going for it all here at the end. Fabela throws a kick of his own, but now Hill and him just slugging it out. Tries to go for a knee in the clinch, and that's the end of the fight. What a bout here to open up Combat Quest Boxing 3. And unfortunately, this one's going to go to the judges' scorecards, and I think we may have an idea who may be our winner, but we're going to have to leave that up to them. But wow, a big shout out to Mike Fabela, Joel Hill, getting us started off right here for Combat Quest Boxing 3.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to make our predictions because, as y'all have heard in the past and seen in the past, more times than not, we're wrong on this side of the scorecard.
Right.
You know, that's why we don't get paid to judge these fights. We get paid to talk about them. But if I had to, I think we're all in agreement that Futures is starting off the night really hot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got to see what the rest of the night is going to hold for us. There's still so many fights coming your way. We still have more Muay Thai kickboxing. We've got boxing coming on later tonight. Your next fight coming up, Sammy the Bull Abedrabbo is going to take on Albert Abdon in a 115-pound Muay Thai kickboxing matchup. We're going to see the return of Sammy the Bull. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's send you back up to Kelvin Garcia for the introduction of our winner.
What up, Joe?
While they're collecting the final judges' scorecards, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to check out VigilantMMA.co. That's VigilantMMA.co. You can also check out the new Discord channel where you can interact with fighters and some of your favorite people who have ever stepped in the Vigilant MMA cage. Make sure you check us out on Discord at Vigilant MMA. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the introduction of your winner.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the 3 rounds. Your winner by unanimous decision out of the red corner, Joel Hill.
Very emotional in that ring right now. A big first debut win.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving things right on to the next bout as we have Sammy the Bull, Samir Abedrabbo, one of the toughest pound-for-pound fighters that we've seen here at Vigilant MMA in a long time, coming back into the cage for a Muay Thai kickboxing matchup, going up against Albert Abdon. It's going to be your second bout for Combat Quest Boxing 3. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. That fight is coming to you in just a few moments. Albert Abdon is a local fighter coming out of Inferno MMA, so we're probably going to have a little bit of a crowd favorite here. But Samir Abedrabbo coming from one of the best kickboxing gyms in North Florida, and that's going to be from Wing Chun Science. So we're going to see how that matchup is going to show out here today in just a few moments. But as I was mentioning before, ladies and gentlemen, Vigilant MMA has our own new Discord channel now where you can interact with some of us. You can interact with the commentators. You can interact with some of your favorite fighters, with some of the crew. You can go ahead and get in touch there. Make sure you go to Discord and find Vigilant MMA. You can check all that out, ladies and gentlemen. But this next fight is coming your way in just a few moments, so do not go anywhere.
Our second bout of this afternoon takes place in the Vigilant Muay Thai flyweight division. Introducing first, Samir Abedrabbo.
So, Mojo, tell me about Sammy. We've seen Sammy the Bull, right? We've seen him a couple times. Remind me about him.
So Sammy the Bull has fought several times here in Vigilant MMA. He has a bit of an arch nemesis turned friend, I guess you could say, a little bit of a frenemy, because he has fought in Muay Thai kickboxing. He's fought in MMA, and unfortunately, both those times that he fought was against David Pierre Luisi, who they call El Peligroso. He's actually one of the most ferocious Muay Thai kickboxers we've seen here in Vigilant MMA. So Sammy the Bull, after 2 losses to Pierre Luisi, I guess he just decided, man, if you can't beat him, join him, because he went and joined Pierre Luisi over at Wing Chun Science and has been developing his skill even further. You know, our iron sharpens iron. Right. There's no way to get better than to go up against the best, and that's exactly what he's been doing at Wing Chun Science. He earned the nickname Sammy the Bull because every single time, even though he's taken losses, he has not been knocked out or finished. Every single time, they've gone to decision. He's a tough fighter. He always keeps walking forward. Ergo the name Sammy the Bull Abedrabbo.
So he's kind of like when Kevin Durant joined the Warriors. You know, you can't beat him. Let me just join and get a ring with that. I mean, it worked out for KD. Let's see how it works out for Sammy the Bull.
Here we go.
And I'm not going to even try to.
Albert Abnon.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. As we've learned, Abedrabbo. Yeah, that's not something that's in my vocabulary. So Sammy the Bull is a lot easier for me.
Sammy the Bull is a lot easier, but his opponent, Albert Abdon, is going to be ready to go here today, and he has Crew Wallace in tow with him, ready for Inferno MMA to bring you Albert Abdon. That's coming from right out here in the 239, just a little further south down in Naples, Florida. Inferno MMA is one of the best gyms, not even just in South Florida, but at this point in the entire state of Florida and the southeastern region of the United States. I mean, I've been to their gym personally. I've seen it. It's a fighter's dream. They have everything you could think of in there. There's an MMA cage. They've got a boxing ring. They've got grappling mats. They've got heavy bags. They got everything you can think of. Everything you need to get in shape and become a fighter is at Inferno MMA. So let's see if Albert Abdon has put that facility to good use, because we know if Crew Wallace sends someone here, they're ready to go.
And you know what else that Inferno has a lot of? Championships.
They absolutely
and
do.
Everybody that they put their name associated with, they expect championships out of them.
Absolutely.
And it's not to add any pressure or anything to that fighter. It's just that's how good they know that their school is. That's how good they know that their skills are that they put into these fighters.
Absolutely.
That championships just come with that.
It's become a reputation for Inferno MMA. It's a name synonymous with gold. It's a name synonymous with championships. You can see in the background one of the champions right now, Malcolm the Ronin Wallace, who's going to be competing in the main event later tonight of Combat Quest 33. He'll be defending his championship in an MMA bout, but right now we are on for some Muay Thai kickboxing.
In our second bout of this afternoon, introducing first, fighting out of the T-Time blue corner, a Wing Chun striker representing Wing Chun Science in Tampa, a 3-fight veteran. Give it up for Sammy the Bull Abedrabbo. And fighting out of the Seacrest Water Tiki red corner, a Muay Thai striker representing Inferno MMA right here in Fort Myers. Making his combat sports debut, give a vigilante welcome to Abdon. Your referee in charge, Jose Laguerre.
This seems like a little bit of what you were talking about earlier about the two different ways that fighters try to prepare for a fight when they walk in. Sammy the Bull, very calm, just kind of walking back and forth. Abdon here, bouncing, staying warm, staying ready, keeping it moving. So, I mean, just two different mentalities, two different fighters. And here we go. Samir Abedrabbo versus Abdon. Abdon coming out with a big head kick, snaps off. Wow. Huge power in those kicks.
And for those of y'all that are watching at home and aren't here in person, you can hear the impact from these kicks that Albert is throwing. Those will knock the wind out of anybody.
Nice body kick lands there from Abedrabbo, but one back.
So this is also going to be something that Sammy isn't necessarily used to, being the taller fighter with a bit of a reach advantage. These guys are both on the smaller side, but Sammy's not got some reach on him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last couple of times that we've seen Abedrabbo, he's always been in a very equally sized opponent or in someone that's a little bit bigger than him. So, I mean, in a different ballpark right now, something that he's not used to, but uncomfortable situations bring the best out of you, too, in the same way. So this is going to test his ability in a different manner.
It looks like
Abdon is teeing off right now. Abedrabbo fighting forward, and this is why he's earned that nickname, Sammy the Bull. I mean, he eats those punches, and he's going to walk forward to try to find some of his own.
He's got a chin, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
And Albert is prepared to test that chin.
Huge leg kick. Abedrabbo doing his best to bob and weave with these punches, but, I mean, the flurry that's coming from Abdon is seemingly unstoppable right now. I mean, the speed from both of these guys.
And you can see that we got some color in here. Red is green. Am I right, brother?
Absolutely. Abedrabbo looks like he's leaking a little bit from his nose.
And we saw with some of those kicks that Sammy was throwing, you know, he's not used to having to gauge that distance like this. And so you can see that he's throwing as if he was fighting somebody a bit taller than him.
And it's not just paying off yet. He's going to have to make those adjustments. And hopefully those are adjustments that can be made here in between rounds. I mean, that's exactly what it's for. The end of the first round is out of the way. And right now it seems like Abdon is firmly in the driver's seat. We're going to see a little bit of a replay here where Abdon was toying with Abedrabbo a little bit, but then caught him with a big combination as he was up against the cage. And Abedrabbo, as we were talking about, Sammy the Bull, eating those punches but fighting forward the best he could. You saw that big left-handed Superman punch that landed from Abdon. We got a little bit of blood coming from the nose of Abedrabbo, so that's going to get checked on by his coaches in the corner. But hopefully, as we were saying, he can make those adjustments. Hopefully, his coaches saw the same thing that we were seeing there in that first round, and he can make the necessary adjustments to come out on top in the second round.
So I'll tell you what's very difficult, especially when you're up against that cage, getting some shots thrown at you, is to press forward, especially when you're on a bit of the losing end, for lack of a better term, because like we don't know who's winning. We're not the judges. But when it seems like your back is up against the wall, it's hard to press forward, and that's super impressive that Sammy's able to do that. You really don't want to press forward, go further into the danger zone, if you will. You want to inch out and shrimp your way out of that.
Try to circle out,
to get some distance. So that's impressive for Sammy to do that.
For sure.
I don't really know what the success rate is with that too much, because you are getting lit up a little bit more and putting yourself into that that strike zone. But I mean, if it works, it works. And if you're able, and as a fighter on the other end of that, you're landing these shots, and then the guy's pressing forward to you, that can throw you off as well. Like, am I just touching him with these gloves, or am I actually hitting him and eating them?
Sometimes it's a mental game, and I mean, if Sammy the Bull can get the best of Abdon in that matter, then maybe he can take this victory away. But right now, nice head movement there from Abedrabbo, but then after that, Abdon caught him. Circling out that time, doing a good job listening to his coaches. Reaching a little too much with that strike. And it seems like he still hasn't like found that distance yet. Just as you were saying earlier, he's used to being against an opponent who's a little bit bigger, maybe the same size. So this reach is different for him.
And what's interesting too is when you are getting touched up a lot, the distance is right there.
Right.
I could understand if there wasn't a lot of action, having
Nice
trouble
overhand,
finding that
right?
distance really. But it's just something he's got to figure out.
Sammy the Bull got a nice little three-punch combo, but Abdon backs him up now against the cage with Sammy the Bull still fighting. Tries to go for the low leg kick.
And we haven't seen a lot of that in this fight.
Not too much activity with the legs. No, we saw a couple leg kicks come from each competitors there in the first round, but after that we haven't seen too much. And just as I'm saying that, Abdon goes for the head kick. Big punch backs Abedrabbo up, but Abedrabbo circles out best he can, throwing some punches to get himself out the way. Reaching right hand. Nice overhand right lands, but not enough to finish the fight. Nice body shot. And I think if Abedrabbo did a little bit better job of setting up that overhand right, I mean, if he were to start, you know, with a little combo, try to get a little bit of a level change so that way he doesn't see that overhand right coming as much, that can help him out a lot. That might be the difference maker in the fight, but it just seems like he's telegraphing it a little bit too much, relying on it a bit too much. You can see a couple times where that overhand right lands cleanly for Abedrabbo, but just not enough to follow it up. I mean, with round 2 out of the way now, we're going into the third and final round. Both of these fighters are a little bit tired, but Abdon looks like he's breathing well. He's not breaking too much of a sweat. However, Abedrabbo's taking some punishment so far. This is what we've kind of come to know of him, is he's not afraid to take those punches. Right. But, I mean, how much does that do for the fighter in the rounds?
Especially against a team like Inferno. I mean, it's just they're able to really close in and like I said in the fight before, find that weakness and exploit it.
Absolutely. I mean, Inferno with a more aggressive, more I don't even know how to say, just they're very they push forward a lot. Their fighters are very just aggressive. I guess that's the word I could just use, is they're aggressive fighters, always moving forward. So to see Samir doing the same thing, you know, it's interesting. It's a little bit of a challenge.
It's a very offensive gym.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Yeah, that's the way I want. There you go. Nice leg kick catches Abdon. Big overhand right, and this is a little bit what I was saying earlier, trying to set it up a little bit more. He caught him clean. See if he could do a little bit more to capitalize off it, though. Straight right catches him, able to duck out of the way of those hands. Sammy seeming a little bit more alive this round.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Nice body kick.
And a lot of times that happens when you've lost the first 2 rounds.
Right.
You know you have nothing else to lose at this point. You actually have to go out there and win it. So let me throw these punches and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean the way these things are seeming. I mean, Abedrabbo with a nice right hand lands there after the knee to the body. Narrowly misses that body kick. Nice right hand lands for Abedrabbo.
And Albert really likes that Superman punch. And
Samir's starting to put in a little bit of work right here. Things are starting to land. Abdon's got to be careful. And I'm not sure if we're calling that a knockdown, but more of a kind of a trip. Great job by our official here to keep them separated, keep the action going.
Wow.
Big overhand right lands again.
Wow.
Left hand lands for
Hands are
Abedrabbo.
low.
Abedrabbo needs to go for it here.
He's really leaking.
He's got about 20 seconds left to win this fight. Big right hand lands again, but just not enough. Big right hand lands. He could be in trouble here. Sammy needs to start teeing off, and that's what he's trying his best to do. Big knees. This is the Sammy the Bull that we needed in the first 2 rounds. I mean,
That was a very impressive round for Sammy. Unfortunately, it might be a little too late.
That was a desperate Abedrabbo right there. He was trying his best to win the fight here at the end. Everything was landing for Abedrabbo. He was firing off, and it seemed like Abdon didn't really know what to do with it. He was facing a different man there in that third round seemingly, but we're gonna have to see where the judges' scorecards lie, because the first 2 rounds, I mean, it seems like Abdon was firmly in the driver's seat, but after that third round, I'm not 100% sure anymore.
That was a whole different fight in that third round.
100%.
And if this would have been a title fight and we had 2 more rounds, you know, it'd be anybody's game at that point.
We would have to wait and see what happens after that, but until then, we're gonna have to see what happens here after only 3 rounds. Either way, a great showing from both of these fighters here today, and big ups to Abdon on making his debut.
And I'd be curious to see what would happen in a rematch between these 2.
I would actually love to see that. And imagine a rematch from these 2 in the MMA discipline. I mean,
right.
If you know, we take the stand up and we throw in the ground game in there, it could bring a whole different fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, the judges have come to a unanimous decision. Your winner, fighting out of the red corner, Abdon.
And I would have to agree with the judges for the most part on this one. I mean, I thought that Abdon had that 2 rounds to 1 for sure. I mean, Abdon was very, very strong showing in those first 2 rounds, and unfortunately for Abedrabbo, it just seemed like too much too late.
Yeah, that's like I said, it was a little too late. In that third round. That third round was unquestionably Sammy's round, but I mean, it's just simple math, simple arithmetic. 2 rounds to 1 round, and you lose.
I mean, Samir Abedrabbo, one of the toughest fighters we've seen, but I mean, Albert Abdon, another tough fighter here in the Muay Thai kickboxing division, taking the victory home. Back to Inferno MMA, making the 239 proud, and there you see posing with his coaches, the Wallace family, Crafton Wallace, Marcellus Wallace, and Malcolm Wallace.
Whole bunch of champions in there right now.
I mean, just a lot of victories, a lot of combat experience in between them. But we're gonna keep things rolling right on, ladies and gentlemen. We have the female Muay Thai kickboxing division kicking things off here for the 3rd matchup. We have Grace Mclin making her debut today against the dangerous Arlette Estrada.
You know, I looked up in a thesaurus, I looked up Inferno, and a synonym for Inferno is success. And I think it's purely just because of this gym here.
I mean, it seems right. I mean, if you look him up in the dictionary, a picture of Crafton Wallace pops up in there. Yeah. But we're moving right on, ladies and gentlemen, to our fight. Let's send you up now to our announcer, Kevin Garcia, for the announcement of our next fight.
In our 3rd bout of this afternoon, takes place in the Vigilant Muay Thai Women's Lightweight Division. Introducing first, Grace Mclin.
Happy International Women's Day, every beautiful lady watching along here in the crowd today, and these 2 beautiful ladies that are fighting today.
Absolutely, and we're gonna see 2 strong women stepping up to the cage today. And here's Grace Mclin making her debut today, representing Ignite MMA. Mclin is looking very, very calm and focused. Taking that big, deep breath, exchanging words with her coach before making her way into the cage.
And like I said, I saw her warming up earlier today, and she looked ready to go. She looked excited. She was getting some advice from her coaches, but also from Warriors. They were giving her some advice as well. So she's got a lot of people looking to help her get that first W of her career.
And we're going to see what she's going to be able to do against the undefeated Arlette Estrada.
And now, Arlette Estrada.
And again, Futures is a very crowd favorite over in this part of town. I guess she's wanting to build up the anticipation for her long-awaited arrival here in town.
I mean, she's undefeated, so she can do whatever she wants.
Right.
I'm not going to go stop her, but there she is, Arlette Estrada, tailed by the Futures MMA coach and gym. You can see her closely followed by Coach Rodriguez, Bryant, Peschel.
And I think she wanted to wait for the drop of the song is what it was, probably.
Yeah, I mean, she can do what she wants. She's got the hands. I'm not going to go tell her she can't. Arlette Estrada, undefeated 1-0, as we mentioned, representing Futures MMA. We last saw her in her debut at Dogfights 1 over in Newport Richey, Florida. At that fight, she secured a victory in the 3rd round by TKO and is looking to do more than that here today as she goes up against Grace Mclin.
And this is one I've been really looking forward to seeing happen. Sometimes these girls come in, these women come in, and they're kind of, they have a chip on their shoulder because this is a predominantly male-dominated sport. Right. So they want to come in and show up and show what these women are about, that show that they belong, that this isn't just a man's world in mixed martial arts and combat sports. This is a woman's world as well.
And these women go through every step of the rigorous training that every man does in this cage. They go through all of the rigorous training in the gym. They go through the hard lifestyle of a fighter that is cutting weight, maintaining weight, dieting, training. Even when you're not training fighting, training MMA, training kickboxing, you still have to be training your body, your cardio, your actual physical fitness. So they're doing all of the same things. I actually saw Arlette Estrada, I believe that was actually today I saw the post that she made about the journey that she went through for her weight cut and the difficulties, the stress that it puts on your body. I mean, it's all the same. They're going through the same things that you've seen all of these male fighters go through, so you cannot discount every single one. These are both some tough women stepping into the cage today, and they're about to show you exactly why you should be fearful. You should be, they're going to show you exactly why you should never say someone hits like a girl.
Right. I don't want to be hit by them.
Absolutely not. I'll stay on this side of the cage. I am good. Arlette Estrada making her way into the cage, and we're going to be ready to go for your 3rd bout of the evening on Combat Quest Boxing 3. Let's send you back to our announcer, Kelvin Garcia, for the introductions.
In our 3rd bout, introducing first, fighting out of the T-Time blue corner, a grappler representing Ignite MMA all the way from KC, Missouri. Making her combat sports debut, give it up for Grace Mclin. And fighting out of the Seacrest Water Tiki red corner, a Muay Thai fighter representing Futures MMA right here in Fort Myers. Undefeated with a 1-0 record. Give a vigilante welcome to Arlette La Mala Estrada.
La Mala.
Now tell me what that means.
Your referee in charge, Jose Laguerre.
She's the bad one.
So far, she's earned that nickname.
Absolutely. We're going to see if she's going to carry that on here today.
2 women step into this cage. One walks out as the woman.
Absolutely. This crowd is buzzing right now. This matchup is about to rock the 239, and we are underway with your 3rd bout with some Muay Thai kickboxing. Arlette Estrada catching that kick from Mclin. Mclin is in the blue corner, Estrada in the red. Both these fighters throwing some big exchanges here. Nice back kick there from
I gotta say,
Estrada.
I didn't expect him, Futures to be the defensive one coming into this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different animal. We haven't seen Grace Mclin yet. Grace Mclin rolls right up, pops off of that like it was nothing. Arlette Estrada doing a nice job covering up there. Big sweeping kick. And we're seeing a lot of good boxing coming here from Mclin so far.
I mean, thoroughly impressed with her striking ability. They said she's a grappler, but if that's her if this is her boxing, I'd hate to see her grappling.
No, I know. I mean, her boxing seems so solid and a nice foundation.
The only thing is, it looks like she's slowing down a bit. She might have blew her load a little early.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, especially when it's your debut. You got to know your gas tank. You can't give it all in the first round.
And no matter how good your gas tank is, that first fight with all the nerves is you got to think it's a fraction of what it really is for that first fight.
Absolutely. La Mala with a nicely placed, beautiful left hand. Before I could even talk about the body kick, followed up with a nice left hand.
Both of these ladies are showing up.
I mean, this is a very, very evenly matched up fight right now.
The next 2 rounds or anything like that, this is my pick for match of the night so far.
I mean, so far, both of these women going in there like absolute machines. Grace Mclin with some fantastic boxing skills.
What a debut so far.
Absolutely, just letting the hands go. So far, a great showing from both fighters. I mean, I'm just looking forward to see what the second round is going to be. So far, things are so even. We saw Grace Mclin do a lot of really good boxing, but Arlette Estrada did a really good job of fighting back. She didn't shell up, she didn't clam up, she kept going, she kept fighting back, and that's what you have to do to that way that she doesn't run away with all the points. You can't let the judges just see you keep taking damage, and Arlette was doing exactly that. She kept fighting back, getting her placements, throwing the punches, throwing kicks. So let's see what the second round is going to be here. Both fighters getting instructions from their coaches. And before we head back into the fight, ladies and gentlemen, just remember to check out VigilantMMA.co, VigilantMMA.co, so that way you can find out information about our future events, whether you're going to be watching online or get tickets to be there in person. You do not want to miss out. VigilantMMA.co or VigilantMMA.co. You can check us out on Facebook at Vigilant MMA or on Instagram at Vigilant_MMA LLC.
Also, shout out to our ref, pulling Iron Man today.
Absolutely, and doing a great job so far, calling it right down the middle, making sure the action keeps going. And just like that, round 2 of action starts back up. Mclin versus Estrada. Estrada seeming a little bit more aggressive this round, which is what we've come to know from these futures fighters. Great job catching that kick from Mclin. Arlette catching that one again. And big exchange, nice body kick lands from Estrada as Mclin was trying to circle out. Nice overhand right lands cleanly. Nice leg kick.
Big shot, stiff shot.
I mean, I just feel like I'm watching chess boxing. I mean, they feel like everything is so calculated. They're both just so evenly matched up. This is one hell of a fight. I mean, for a debut, Grace Mclin is seeming so well-rounded. I'm almost curious if she has any fights in any other disciplines, because as far as we know, this is her debut in combat sports, but it could just be her kickboxing debut.
It's such a even fight that it's hard for us to, call it, because it's just so clean and even between both of them.
Absolutely.
One looks like she's taking the advantage. The next time, I mean, you blink and then the other one's on top for a little bit, and it's just back and forth like that. It's impressive to watch. It's beautiful to watch as a fight fan, but it's just I would hate to be a judge for this.
No, 100%. I mean, if this goes that far, it's got to be a split decision if I've ever seen it. But the end of the second round, ladies and gentlemen, and until we come back for the third round, we're going to send you out to a word from our sponsors.
Hustle Harder Inc. Hustle Harder Inc.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about ready to start with round 3 here. We've had 2 very, very even rounds of Muay Thai kickboxing between these 2 women, Grace Mclin and Arlette Estrada. This 3rd round is going to determine your winner. Will Grace Mclin become undefeated in her debut, or will Arlette Estrada move that undefeated win column up to 2 wins? We're going to find out in 2 minutes or less. Coaches and corners out of the cage, doors are sealed, and we are ready to go. The 3rd and final round between Mclin and Estrada. Let's see, Estrada doing her best to fight a little bit more forward here. We've seen some aggression, but I mean, just so even. Every time Estrada starts to get some leverage, Mclin gets it right back. Mclin hasn't stopped throwing punches since the bell sounded.
It's impressive, and
she looks exhausted because she's been throwing and throwing and throwing.
But she hasn't shied away from it at all.
Absolutely not.
And they're built so similarly. It's just such an even fight.
Yeah, there's not much of a height or reach advantage in either way. I mean, wow.
And I'm so excited to see where these 2 ladies are a year from now into their career,
right,
with you know, because they're both still very novice fighters.
Absolutely.
Seeing them build and learn and really develop.
Big head kick lands there from Estrada, but not enough to drop Mclin. Mclin's got to be careful, though, because if you remember, as I was saying before, dogfights 1, we saw Arlette Estrada get a TKO victory in the 3rd round, very, very close to the end of the round 2. So she's got it in her gas tank. Mclin's got to be careful. But the very same with Estrada. Mclin's been very, very active so far in this fight. She's got to be careful not to let her get the best of her in this final 30 seconds. Nice head kicks as Arlette circles out there. Knee tries to go for it, but 10 seconds left in the round. These 2 are about to go for it all here. Just as you were saying, probably the worst time to be a judge.
What an electric fight. You should feel the excitement in this building right now. I've got chills. I've got chills all over my body just feeling how excited everyone is for both of these warriors, both of these females in this ring that just showed up and proved that gender doesn't matter. These girls came in here and really did work. And that was an impressive fight.
That was an absolute war on both ends. I mean, wow. I mean, you talk about 2 fighters who were ready for today. You have to look at these 2 women. Arlette Estrada and Grace Mclin are putting all the men on notice today. This might be fight of the night. The guys better turn their heat up because right now these ladies are on top of their game.
Yeah. Both gyms, both teams should be proud of their fighters 100% for representing them in the way that they did.
No matter the decision, no matter which way it goes, these are 2 very, very impressive fighters with very bright futures.
I could honestly see this fight going either way.
100%.
If I had to pick, I'd want it to be a draw, but if I had to pick, I think Futures is walking away with another one. She was just a little bit more clean, Arlette was. But yeah, let's see what the judges think.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, the judges have come to an agreement your winner by unanimous decision, out of the red corner, Arlette Estrada.
I think it just comes down to she was just a little bit more technically sound, and that's what you'd expect coming out of Futures. But no, this was a tough fight to call.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like maybe Arlette might have had that third round. That third round might have gave her that unanimous decision. I feel like that third round she might have been a little more firmly in the driver's seat. But regardless, Arlette Estrada still undefeated, 2-0, making Futures MMA and Coach Rodriguez proud, taking that victory home. La Mala continues to be victorious. Looking forward to seeing more of her here in Vigilant MMA. We're going to be bringing the rest of the card to you in just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, after a couple of words from our sponsors. But do not go anywhere. We have some great action coming up. We have a 175-pound boxing matchup when the Punisher, Angel Jaime, takes on Steve Mendez in just a few minutes.
Hustle Harder Inc. Hustle Harder Inc.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from intermission and ready for some fights. We've got a boxing matchup.
Our fourth bout this evening takes place in the Vigilant light heavyweight boxing division. Introducing first, Angel Jaime.
This seems to be a bit of a favorite song for a lot of our fighters here lately. And I can't say I hate it.
Not for sure.
I love it. They just need to represent the man, the Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle well.
Absolutely. I mean, so far it seems like Angel Jaime has done that, though. I mean, he did win his last fight. We saw him back at Dog Fights 2 when he competed in the first ever Vigilant MMA bare knuckle fight. He took the victory that day over a man that you'll see later tonight, Darius Scoutt.
And here he comes, ready to go. And I saw some of the videos of him training, and he likes to punch buildings. He trains punching buildings, kicking buildings, so it's definitely tough. You got to be a special individual to willingly punch a building.
They call this man the Punisher, and he actually stepped up on late notice for this matchup. We'll get back to that in just a moment.
And now, Steve Mendez.
Everybody was
Another interesting song choice, but this should be a good fight. Like you said, Angel stepped up. He stepped up on the last minute notice, and so we'll see. A lot of times we see that be a little counterproductive. They don't really have the time to get ready as they would like to, but we'll see how this goes for him.
So this was originally supposed to be a Muay Thai kickboxing matchup. Steve Mendez was supposed to go up against Derek Paredes, but Derek had to drop out of the fight for unknown reasons. So making the switch over to boxing, Steve Mendez is going up against Angel Jaime, who, as we said, took this fight on, I think, quite literally less than a day's notice. So we're going to see how that fares for him. Let's send you up now to the introduction.
In our fourth bout this afternoon, introducing first, fighting out of the T-Time blue corner, a grappler representing parts unknown out of Miami, a two-fight veteran. Give it up for the Cuban Punisher, Angel Jaime. And fighting out of the Seacrest Water Tiki red corner, a boxer representing Martial Arts University right here in Fort Myers, making his sanctioned boxing debut. Give a vigilante welcome to Steve Mendez. Your referee in charge, Jose Laguerre.
So I believe this is going to be the boxing debut for Steve Mendez. However, he is undefeated as a Muay Thai kickboxer. He got his first victory just under a month ago over at Valhalla MMA. He got that victory in the first round by knockout. So very curious to see how he's going to fare in the boxing discipline. And here, there we go. Beginning of round one between the Angel Jaime and Steve Mendez.
Oh, quick hands.
And Steve Mendez is jacked, first of all. I mean, he looks like he's in fantastic shape, but Angel Jaime does punch hard. We come to know that from him. I mean, we saw at the previous dog fights, he fought in that modified bare knuckle against Darius Scoutt.
And Steve is doing a really good job of controlling the center of the cage.
Jaime a little bit off balance. So, I mean, one thing's inherently clear. You could see the fundamentals of Steve Mendez. I mean, his traditional boxing stance. Look at him lighting up Jaime right now. Jaime doing his best to circle out, but Mendez is teeing off right now. This could be the beginning of the end for the Punisher. Mendez, as I was mentioning before, his fundamentals just seem so clean cut. Meanwhile, Jaime is a little more of a wild, little bit of a wild style to him. Jaime got caught off balance there. I believe that's going to count as a knockdown. He will get the 8-second standing 8-second call.
That's what we've come to learn from Angel. Is he's very vocal. He's into scare tactics, I guess you could call it. And I don't necessarily think it's a gimmick. I just think that's his natural personality coming out. We see him throwing these huge punches that leave him wide open to get tacked up. Now, if they land, they're going to do some damage, but it just leaves him wide open to just get ripped through.
And that's the thing. We've come to know that he is a little bit wild with his style, but there's a lot of strength behind those punches. He had some good head movement there at the end of the round, but, I mean, we're going to have to see how that's going to fare for him in the second round because, I mean, Steve Mendez just seems like he's a very, very well put-together fighter.
I got to say, as a boxing purist fan like I am, that first round had everything I want in a fight. I mean, just that pure boxing technical ability from Steve, and then just the wild, anything can happen, one punch needed style from Angel that just it's fun to watch. It gets me going.
Absolutely. I mean, Angel Jaime is definitely entertaining, but I mean, Steve Mendez is really just well put together. He's tactical. He's very well rounded. Seemingly, he seems like he's in great shape as well. He's getting those final instructions from his coach. Meanwhile, Angel Jaime is getting some instruction from the Wing Chun Science team. Jorge Betancourt is over there with him. So Angel Jaime, as far as we know, does not have any affiliations or associations with the team. But that's one of the great things about Vigilant MMA. There are a lot of teams here who are willing to step up for those fighters and give them somebody in their corner. So big ups to the team of Wing Chun Science for doing that for Angel Jaime here today. But here we go, round 2 of action. Wow. And I mean, when you see Steve like switch up those stances, when he gets ready to load up those punches, it's so quick. Everything is so intentional. There's no wasted movements with Mendez.
What's so impressive is this is his boxing debut, but based on his ability and just based on the way he carries himself as a boxer in the middle of this ring, it's hard to believe that.
No, you would think this is somebody who's been boxing for several years, and that's not to say he hasn't been training for several years, but has been fighting actively for several years. And I mean, just walking down Angel Jaime right now, he's got Angel Jaime running away, which isn't what we've seen much from Jaime. Jaime has usually been the one to be a little bit more the enforcer.
And also, we got to remind y'all, shout out to Angel for taking this fight on 1 day notice.
Absolutely, and it's got to be, I really do think it was less than 1 day because the weigh-ins were yesterday around 3 or 4 p.m. And right now, Mendez is teeing off. We can get a standing 8 count. Jaime was not fighting back there. It's done.
That's the fight.
That's going to be the end of the fight. A huge victory there for Steve Mendez against an opponent that he wasn't ready for, in the discipline that he didn't do his fight camp for. He still showed up and got the decision, or sorry, got his victory here today. Congrats to Steve Mendez. What a showing.
That was impressive. That's all you can really say about it.
Absolutely.
Just clean, smooth, technical boxing ability.
Now, if that was his boxing, I really, really want to see his kickboxing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just want to see more of him fighting.
Absolutely. I want to see him kickboxing. I want to see him boxing. I'll watch him do MMA. I don't care. This man right here, Steve Mendez, looks like he was made in a lab.
It's the Latino Mr. Clean.
I love it. There's everything about him. That's awesome. Big congrats to Steve Mendez, but Again, big ups to the Punisher, Jaime, for taking this fight on such short notice. It takes a lot of guts just to do that alone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's send you back up to our announcer for the official announcement of your winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout comes to a halt in round number 2. Your winner by TKO out of the red corner, Steve Mendez.
So it looks like we're gonna let them celebrate a little bit and get right into this next fight. Tell me about it.
Absolutely. Big congratulations to Steve Mendez, but we're going right on to our featured bout. We have Devin Macintosh going up against the young phenom Jaydan Rivero. This is going to be in the 137-pound Muay Thai kickboxing division. Devin Macintosh is making his kickboxing debut here today. He also had one boxing match previous to that, but making his debut in kickboxing against Inferno's own Jaydan Rivero.
Our 5th bout this afternoon takes place in the Vigilant Muay Thai men's super lightweight division. Introducing first, Devin Kenneth.
Yeah, so Devin likes to go by Devin Kenneth the Menace Macintosh.
Kenneth the Menace.
Messaged me, and he's not a man of many words either. He likes to come in and just really say he lets his fighting do all the talking, so we'll see about that.
We're going to see how he fares today. As we mentioned before, making his kickboxing debut, but has had one fight in boxing, traditional boxing that is. But nonetheless, kickboxing debut here today, but his opponent is no short order. He's going up against Jaydan Rivero of Inferno MMA.
And Jaydan, he comes from Inferno, you know, so it's a tough one to go
And
against.
now, Jaydan Rivero.
They call him the Apex Predator, hailing from Inferno MMA with Drew Wallace in tow. He is Jaydan Rivero.
And let me tell you, for those of y'all that aren't too familiar with the term, an apex predator is a predator animal that has nobody able to take it out. It is the top of the food chain. So if that's what Jaydan wants to be, he's got to represent that name well. And coming from Inferno, they're setting him up to be that apex predator to where nobody can take him out, and he takes what he wants in this game.
Absolutely, and I mean, Jaydan Rivero has been fighting a lot already as such a young man. I believe he actually just turned 18 a few months ago. Previous to this, he had a lot of fights in the youth Muay Thai kickboxing division. He's gone up against some of the best, guys like Colin Walker, Kota Shudo, guys like Dante Friga. I mean, he's had a lot of tough fights, and he's done a really great job in every single one of them. But he's going to have to prove himself again here today as that apex predator against Devin Macintosh.
Oh, and so they didn't want a headgear. And as we saw, Devin came in with headgear, and they wanted it to be a no headgear fight. So Devin, being a true fighter as he is, just threw it into the crowd. You know, he's ready to take this fight however it needs. Headgear or not, they're ready to perform.
Absolutely. And last time we saw Mr. Rivero here, was back at Combat Quest 32. He earned himself a split decision victory over Rivero Trout. So looking to keep the ball rolling here today in the victory column.
Both fighters look very prepared, very confident. I'm excited for this one. I gotta say, it feels this is a very big fight field.
In our fifth bout this afternoon, introducing first, fighting out of the tea-time blue corner, a striker representing Brandon's Boxing Academy, making his sanctioned combat sports debut. Give it up for Devin, the Menace, Kenneth.
Devin, Kenneth, the Menace, Macintosh.
And fighting out of the Seacrest Water Tiki red corner, a Muay Thai striker, representing Inferno MMA right here in Fort Myers. Give it up for undefeated with 1-0 record to Apex Predator, Jaydan Rivero. Your referee, Jose Leguire.
The Apex Predator versus the Menace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, cage doors are closed. Headgear is out the window.
We're ready to fight.
Ready, absolutely. Your featured bout. Nice teep kick there. And just one thing we learned about Jaydan Rivero is he's a confident fighter.
Yeah. Confident, borderline cocky, but I mean, when you have results, you can be as confident as you want, you can be as cocky as you want.
Nice head kick landed there from the Menace. Nice overhand right.
And both of these fighters seem to be pretty young.
No, absolutely. I mean, Rivero, I believe, just turned 18 a few months ago. And I believe his opponent is in his early 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
And then he landed a pretty... Devin, Kenneth the Menace, landed a pretty good kick, and so he's feeling pretty confident now too.
Yeah, I think the Menace got a little taste of that confidence, that cockiness from Rivero, and didn't like it very much.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing when you see, you know, your opponent being respectful in the cage, but when you start talking in the middle of the ring and, you know, things start getting a little personal after that.
And like I said, Jaydan, nobody's been able to stop him from doing that, so he can be as cocky and confident as he wants.
Rivero off balance on his own kick. 10 seconds here.
We really haven't seen either one of them able to take advantage of everything so far.
Yeah, it's been an interesting first round. I mean, for the most part, it seems like Rivero was just trying to go for the highlight reel stuff.
He's having fun.
Yeah. We saw that confidence there of Rivero, and right there is when we saw the Menace. He got a little pissed off. He didn't like it. This is when he started to really fight back. Told him, come on, bring it. You want to be like that? Let's go. And we're going to see how the second round is going to fare out. I mean, two young fighters who want this victory. We're going to have to see how things fare, because as you mentioned, that first round was really even. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, you still have your co-main event and your main event coming up later on tonight. In your main event, Tyler Kent is challenging the Dominator, Aldo Dominguez, for his 150-pound Vigilant MMA Kickboxing Championship. But right now, the featured bout. Second round fixing to start here as the cage doors are sealed.
And it's interesting, both fighters still feeling each other out, but still also wanting to throw the flashy stuff. So it's an interesting, you know, balance in this fight so far.
For sure. Lands a nice kick there, but Mendez fights him right back off. Tries to go for a kick of his own, checked.
And Jaydan's a big fan favorite here. The
Yeah,
whole crowd
absolutely.
is with him, and that's got to throw off the mental of Devin Kenneth, the Menace Macintosh.
For sure. And I mean, especially when you're in the hometown, you're so close to the home gym. Checked kick there. And just as we were saying, it doesn't seem like either fighter can really get the upper hand. I mean, does a good job catching him with the trip there. Big left hand lands there for the Menace. Rocks him with the head kick. Teeing off right now. Dumps Jaydan and
He's got to capitalize. He's got to really. He gave him a little bit too much time to think about it.
Yeah. Nice body kick lands. Menace is catching him on every opportunity he can get. Rivero's doing his best, and Rivero's frustrated now. You can visibly see the frustration because everything he's been trying to throw, the Menace has had an answer for. Trying to throw a little teep kick there to back him up. Leg kick for measure, throws a body kick on the left side, but again, the Menace catches him with that left hand, keeps fighting forward. That nice body shot. That's the end of round two.
Interesting second round.
Right at the sound of the horn, kick the mouthpiece right out of the mouth of Rivero. You're gonna see a little bit of a replay here.
Interesting second round.
This
That
is
was
where
a fun one.
Rivero smelled a little bit of blood in the water, but then Macintosh fight him right back off.
I think the crowd chanting really fired Macintosh up.
And it seemed like this right here where he caught that left hand, this is where he started to go to work. Everything he was throwing was landing. Drops Rivero there, lets his own momentum throw him to the ground. And every time Rivero was trying to answer with something, Macintosh was coming right back.
I feel like the hometown boy doesn't win this, there might be a riot here in Fort Myers.
We're gonna have to see. I mean, the 239 might be rocking one way or another. We're gonna find out in about 2 minutes or less here as we get the corners out of the way. And round three is set to go. Both corners getting their final instructions.
That Macintosh corner is fired up.
And I would be too. They're in enemy territory looking for the upset. They got something to prove here today. Here we go. Third and final round between Devin Macintosh and Jaydan Rivero. The Apex Predator versus Kenneth the Menace. Rivero goes for the jumping knee, but Menace circles out, gets the clinch.
I think these boys want to fight MMA the way it's looking like it.
Which would be a real interesting fight to watch. Considering these exchanges in the clinch, it would bring a whole different avenue of where these things could go in an MMA fight. But right now, our official getting the action broken up and keeping it going. Good exchange here. Goes for the head kick, checked. Tries to go for the spinning back fist, but is caught with a flurry of punches.
All right, Devin the Kenneth, the Menace, Macintosh, whole bunch of names. That was impressive. You got to close it down.
We're inside the final minute here of the round. Rivero firing off with the knees, but Macintosh seemingly unbothered by them. Nice catch on the kick, making Rivero dance around a little bit. Nice catch on the kick again. Rivero not able to do much with it. Macintosh trying to fight the clinch off. Rivero firing a couple knees. Lands a shot to the body. Rivero still trying with the knees, but Macintosh fires off the right hand. Tries to check those knees. We're going to get a break here from our official. 20 seconds left in this third and final round of your featured bout. Huge left hook. Takes the mouthpiece out of Jaydan Rivero's mouth. What a shot. I'm surprised that did not drop Rivero. That was a stiff, straight left. 10 seconds. Uppercut lands there for Macintosh, and Rivero seems fine to just walk this one off until the end.
Interesting fight, interesting fight. Another very even bout.
I'm not sure exactly who I'm going to give this to, but just based off of what we saw in the second round and some of the third round, I think Macintosh might have this one by a hair. However, Rivero was doing his thing in the first round and some of the third round too. So things are very, very even right now.
Another fight where I would hate to be the judge.
Absolutely. Let's see how things pan out here, ladies and gentlemen, as we wait for the judges to collect their scorecards. We want to make sure we go to vigilantmma.co, vigilantmma.co to find out about all our future events, whether you're purchasing tickets to be there in person so you don't miss the action, or you watch along with us online. You can also check out our new Vigilant MMA Discord page where you can interact with some of your favorite stars, fighters, and personalities from Vigilant MMA. Make sure you check that out on Discord. Become a part of the community and become a vigilante along with us. We are ready to find out who won this fight. Let's send you up now for the official announcement, the decision for our winner. A little dance-off to end this one. I mean, this might sway the judges' scorecards. I'm not sure. I mean,
is this being used in the scorecards?
Rivero doing his impression of a dead worm. All right, let's send you up now for the official announcement.
After 3 rounds, the judges are in agreement. The winner by majority decision, out of the red corner, Jaydan Rivero.
Listen, that's why you never want to leave it to the judges.
Never.
Some judge, it's preference at that point. Whatever the judge prefers. Aggression, counter striking. Hand game, kick game, it's just preference at that point. That one judge could grade it a different way than another, and unless you finish the fight, it's out of your hands at that point.
Absolutely, and Rivero earning himself another victory.
And he's still at the top of the food chain. He is the apex predator still.
And if I'm not mistaken, so his record as a youth kickboxer is separate from his record as an adult kickboxer. So as an adult kickboxer, I believe the Apex Predator is undefeated 2-0 right now. So hopefully he's going to keep that ball rolling and keep that label of the Apex Predator. But right now with the featured bout out of the way, we're making our way to the co-main event where Darius Scoutt goes up against Bryant Peschel in a 172-pound Muay Thai kickboxing matchup for your co-main event of Combat Quest Boxing 3 here in beautiful Fort Myers. That's going to be coming your way in just a few moments.
Our 6th bout this afternoon takes place in the Vigilant Muay Thai light heavyweight division. Introducing first, Darius Scoutt.
And this one might be one of the most enthusiastic fighters that we have in Vigilant. He really wants to be a fighter. He really wants to do this. He really wants this. So far, it hasn't gone his way. He's trying to figure out where he belongs in combat sports. So we'll see if Muay Thai kickboxing is his thing.
For sure. You know, we've seen him compete before here. He's competed in MMA. Unfortunately, took a loss. He also competed in the first ever Vigilant MMA modified bare knuckle matchup back at Dogfights 2. And that's actually his opponent right there behind him, Angel Jaime. These two were the participants of the first ever bare knuckle matchup in Vigilant MMA history back at Dogfights 2 about a month or so ago. But nonetheless, Darius Scoutt stepping into the cage here today for some Muay Thai kickboxing.
See if this is where he's supposed to be. He really wants this. He really wants to make this work. I want it to work for him, so we'll see.
And now, Bryant Peschel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Combat Quest Boxing 3 has been rocking so far, and the action is about to pick up here in your co-main event. We have another local crowd favorite, another hometown hero, you could say, Bryant Peschel out of Futures MMA.
And he looks like he's ready. I saw him earlier, and he looks like he's ready to go. He's the real deal, and unfortunately for Darius, this is... if he can pull this off, he belongs in the sport. You know, this is a tough one to really cut your teeth against and really earn your stripes. So we'll see what each fighter can do.
I mean, Darius right now just standing in the middle of the cage, hearing 90% of this crowd saying, "Let's go, Bryant." And I mean, making his fans wait a little bit. Nonetheless, Bryant Peschel, we've seen him a couple times here in Vigilant MMA. He's been impressive every single time, earning himself 2 victories so far, hoping to chalk up a third here.
And we're still waiting for him to arrive.
Highly anticipated entrance of Mr. Peschel. I mean, I wouldn't mind waiting to watch him fight either. I mean, every single time he fought, it was a real show, real something to behold every single time. But still to come later on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, also as mentioned, the Dominator, Aldo Dominguez, making his return to Vigilant MMA after a little bit of a hiatus. Returning as a 10-0, undefeated 3-promotion champion. Aldo Dominguez is the measuring stick right now in Vigilant MMA, especially in the Muay Thai kickboxing division, and he's your 150-pound Muay Thai kickboxing champion, hailing from the same gym as Bryant Peschel of Futures MMA. He's got some dangerous teammates. So we're gonna see if Futures is gonna keep the ball rolling tonight.
Normally you don't get to hear the whole song for an entrance, but we're fortunately it's a good song too, so
great.
You know, I'll vibe out to it.
Right.
Playing a little bit of mind games too. Here we go. Here's the man.
The man, the myth, the legend, Bryant Peschel. As mentioned before, 2 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw. His last words here with Coach Rodriguez.
Not an emotion in his face. He's just locked in, ready to go.
Stone Cold Killer is Bryant Peschel. And you see Futures MMA holds the tradition of Muay Thai kickboxing very dearly. And this is going to be, there's the tradition of kickboxing, and then what you're about to see is the tradition of Futures MMA, the pre-fight slap-up from Coach Rodriguez. To lock those fighters in, get those thoughts out of their head, get them ready for what they're about to step into.
And that, I mean, Futures knows what they're doing when it comes to this sport. They're a pros school.
And when you see Futures walk into a venue, they come in with their whole crew. They come in with the whole gym. They come in, they occupy the space, they take over, they let it be known that the future is now with Futures MMA. All right. Bryant Peschel in the cage. Let's send you up for the official announcement of our fighters.
In our featured bout this afternoon, introducing first, fighting out of the T-Time blue corner, a striker and a two-fight veteran, representing parts unknown all the way from Madison, Wisconsin. Give it up for Darius Scoutt. And fighting out of the Seacrest Water Tiki red corner, a Muay Thai striker, representing Futures MMA right here in Fort Myers. Undefeated with a 2-0 record. Give a vigilante welcome to the bad boy, Bryant Peschel.
The bad boy. I dig it.
Our referee, Jose Laguerre.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your co-main event for Combat Quest Boxing 3. The Sidney Byrne Davis Art Center is packed out, standing room only right now, and everyone is electric for this matchup. Peschel immediately pushing forward, catching Darius in his own corner. And Darius already has his hands kind of low right now. I don't like this. And we're talking about size and reach advantage. Right now, Bryant has a pretty decent advantage right now in the height and reach department, seemingly.
And unfortunately for Darius, he doesn't have a team back home. He's another independent fighter, and independent fighters, as it is, have a tough go at it fighting anybody. But to be an independent fighter going up against Futures,
right?
That's tough.
I mean, statistically speaking, just looking back at our history, statistically speaking, the fighters without gyms or without coaches don't really do so well, unfortunately. I mean, it's just hard when you've already had these two fights, but you don't have somebody to show you what you're doing wrong. You don't have somebody to help fine-tune everything that you're doing to make you to a better fighter. And for Bryant Peschel, he has one of, if not the best school in Florida for Muay Thai kickboxing. I mean, it's like an unranked college going up against the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. Darius taking a beating right now. Peschel is laying it on.
Surprisingly enough, there hasn't been much
10 seconds
action in this first round.
The first round tends to be a lot of a feeling out process for most fighters, which it seemingly has been right here. Bryant Peschel very much more the aggressor. He actually met Darius in his corner. Coach Rodriguez not too happy with Bryant right now.
I think Coach Rodriguez knew he could have ended it.
He absolutely could have. I mean, I think he felt that Bryant was feeling the crowd a little bit.
And I think he was feeling it out. I think he's being a little too hesitant.
And, I mean, his coach is telling him when he drops those hands, wind up that kick and clock it. I mean, we have seen Darius majority of that first round with his hands down by his hips, leaving that head open. I think that's why Coach Rodriguez was so frustrated with Peschel. He could have gone for the kill.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to see what happens here in the second round. Darius just seeming like he didn't want to be in there in that first round. We're going to have to see if he has a little more of his wits about him in the second round. Here we go, round 2. Big leaping kick for Peschel. Kick to the body lands for Peschel. That didn't feel good for Darius, covering up his body a bit. Darius tried to catch the kick, but Peschel spins out of it.
And Darius is just, it looks like he's afraid to get hit now. He looks like he knows that he's been getting hit and he doesn't like it anymore, and he's, rather than doing something about it, he's just trying to avoid it.
It seems like he's just in survival mode right now. He's covering up. Peschel starting to tee off. If Peschel doesn't get a knockout, he's going to get a stoppage at the very least. He's going to get a standing 8 count. This crowd is erupting right now. This might be it. Darius still isn't getting up. I think he's done. I think this. That's it. And this is going to give Peschel the victory by TKO. And I think the idea of fighting is a little bit better than actually doing it for Darius.
You know, I say it every show, every event that we have, there's some people that like the idea of fighting and there's some people that like fighting. It's a very different thing.
Peschel is a fighter through and through. I mean, he came in here and he put on the clinic. He was in control from beginning to end. And, you know, maybe it's time for Darius to pick a new sport.
I don't know. I know one thing, that if/when Darius does get that first W, brother might cry in the middle of the ring. But tonight is not that day.
Unfortunately not. But for Peschel, still undefeated, moving up now to 3-0.
And I definitely think he wants to get a shot at some gold very soon.
I mean, I don't see it being very far away. You might have to talk to Second Chance about that one, our current 170-pound Muay Thai kickboxing champion. That would be a very, very interesting matchup. And who knows, that may be somewhere near Peschel's future, but for now, the victory is just as sweet. Let's send you up now for the official introduction, the announcement of your winner.
This fight comes to a halt in round number 2 with your winner by TKO out of the red corner, Bryant Peschel.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we were saying before, if you're going to be a fighter, if you're going to participate in combat sports, go find a gym. And not just any gym, go find a reputable, solid gym that is going to train you and fine-tune you. They're going to be the ones who are going to tell you what you don't want to hear, but they're going to tell you what you need to hear to be able to be a better fighter. And that's exactly what Peschel has behind him, is such a solid foundation in Coach Rodriguez in Futures MMA.
I'll tell you from somebody who has multiple gyms and teams that he's a part of, for my pro wrestling, for my bodybuilding, for jiu-jitsu, for my boxing. have to have these people behind you that will tell you what you need to hear, that will help you work on what you need to work on.
Absolutely.
That will get you to, that make you do the stuff that you don't want to do, but you need to do.
It's that old saying, what you do in the dark will always come to light. And if you're drilling and working away in the dark, you get to celebrate in the light, like Peschel is right now, ladies and gentlemen. But with your
I'm here with your winner, Bryant. Bryant, how you feeling tonight?
I feel really good. I've got an amazing team behind me. I've got an amazing group of friends and family that are all here to support me. What more could you ask for, honey?
How do you feel the fight went? Did it go as you planned?
It went exactly as my coach and my team planned it. Hey, you know what? All I am is a body in here. That man, Jeremiah Rodriguez, he's the one that puts this all together for us. As long as we follow direction, we'll never lose.
What's next for you, Bryant?
I don't know. You ask Brandon, let me eat.
Give it up for Brandon Peschel one more time. And a special shout out to his wife, Carson. It's her birthday. So a big happy birthday to her as well.
Happy birthday to Miss Peschel. That's a great birthday gift to give your wife. It's a big victory on a big stage. Congrats again to Bryant Peschel taking the victory back to Futures MMA. But Futures MMA isn't going to have to go far. They might as well stay right out here, because coming up next is your main event of Combat Quest Boxing 3, when Aldo, the Dominator Dominguez, defends his 150-pound Muay Thai kickboxing championship against the 6-1 Tyler Kent.
Our 7th bout of this afternoon takes place in the Vigilant Muay Thai Super Welterweight division. Introducing first, Tyler Kent.
And here comes Tyler Kent. He's feeling pretty ready to do some Mortal Kombat, take over the world. I mean, if this song doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will.
Absolutely. And right now, Tyler Kent, as mentioned before, holds a 6-1 record. He's representing the Wolfpack MMA. He's coming to us with that 6-1 record. I was taking a look actually at his performance history. Tyler Kent has actually gotten victories in pretty much every way you can think of in kickboxing. He's gotten the knockout, he's gotten technical knockouts, he's gotten a split decision victory, he's had a unanimous decision victory. He knows how to win one of these fights in every way possible. But his opponent, the Dominator, has that name for a reason. He's undefeated 10-0. So this is gonna be the toughest fight that Tyler Kent has ever had, but this also may be one of the toughest fights that the Dominator has ever had to face as well.
Here's the thing, though. This might be the most drastic size discrepancies that we're going to see here today. Tyler Kent's a tall guy.
Oh, wow, yes.
He's a big, long 150 pounds. And Aldo, to say it gracefully, is vertically challenged. So that's going to be hard. No matter how good of a fighter you are, that's going to be hard to overcome.
And now, Aldo Dominguez.
So one thing about Aldo, I mean, we've heard the saying before, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but about the size of the fight of the dog. He's got a lot of fight in that body. He's come out every single time.
10 wins worth of it.
I mean, 10 wins, no losses. It's kind of hard to compare that. I mean, before, I just said that this is going to be Aldo's toughest fight yet, and it very well may be. But I think I've said that 7 other times.
Right.
I mean, he's proved us wrong every single time. He's shown out every single time. He's got that solid team behind him. And just to remind everybody, I believe Aldo's only 20 years old.
Right.
He's still very, very young and has already had 10 Muay Thai kickboxing bouts, 3 championships, 3 promotions. I don't know what else you need in a fighter.
This is gonna be a fight. There's a reason this is the main event. Not only just because it's for the title, but these guys have been here. They've been around the block, and they know what they're doing, and they're here to perform.
Absolutely. And just so you don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this may be the main event for Combat Quest Boxing 3, but you still have our whole second card coming on shortly after in Combat Quest 33 Road Trip 8. We're going to have some gold on the line there, some title eliminators, but right now, the gold is on the line. You see all of those titles in tow.
This is another one of those Futures Inferno collaborations that make, when they do this for somebody, you know they're the real deal.
He is the Vigilant MMA Muay Thai Kickboxing Champion. He is the Leo Code Muay Thai Kickboxing Champion. He is also the WCFL Muay Thai Kickboxing Champion. Brought to you by a combination of Inferno's MMA and Futures MMA. From the 239, the very one dominator, Aldo Dominguez. And there's just this aura, this presence, this tension that you feel when he walks into the room, when he has a crew like that behind him. One of the most unstoppable forces we've ever seen in Vigilant MMA. The longest win streak that Vigilant MMA has ever seen.
It's gonna be a fight, y'all. This is gonna be a fight, y'all. All right, I hope y'all have y'all's drinks in hand, y'all snacks, all ready to go. You already went and used the restroom, like everything's done. Put the phone on silent. Y'all want to lock in and watch this one here.
Absolutely. You can't look away for even a moment, because as we know from seeing him so many times, the Dominator is capable of ending a fight at any moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a big fight field. The 239 is on their feet here at the Sidney and Vern Davis Art Center, and we are ready for your main event of Combat Quest Boxing 3. Let's send you up now to our announcer for the official announcements of our championship combatants.
In this, our main event of the afternoon, introducing first, fighting out of the tea-time blue corner, a striker representing Wolfpack MMA all the way from Dothan, Alabama, with an impressive 6-1 record. Give it up for the Realtor, Tyler Kent. And this champion needs no introduction. Fighting out of the Seacrest Water Tiki red corner, a Muay Thai striker representing Futures MMA right here in Fort Myers. Undefeated with a 10-0 record, currently a 4-promotion champion. The reigning, defending, Vigilant Muay Thai Super Welterweight Champion. Give a vigilante welcome to Aldo, the Dominator Dominguez. Your referee in charge, Jose Laguerre.
And it's about that time, y'all.
We have been waiting since the first bell for this exact moment. Your main event, Tyler Kent in the blue corner, Aldo Dominguez in the red, and here we go. Championship implications, the gold is on the line. David versus Goliath seemingly here today.
But Goliath might be Aldo. He's the one with the strap.
And it seems that way, but I mean, we see, just as you were talking about, one of the most significant size differences possibly of the whole night.
That's a solid 6-7 inch difference at least.
And right now, just that feeling out process. You want to go too hard, too fast. This is a 5-round bout. It'll be 5 2-minute rounds since it is a championship match. And, I mean, you got to wonder at some point if that 10-0 undefeated record weighs on the mind of Dominguez. And just as I'm saying that, almost knocked a crystal clear head kick, but you just got to think the pressure, the expectations that you have. Low kick, accidental, I mean, it happens. But as we mentioned, if it's a lot of pressure, when you have, you know, the expectation of winning, you're 10-0, it's got to be a lot, especially for such a young mind.
And so with that, I mean, it's always going to be right there. You want to stay perfect. You want to have that flawless record. Not only that, look at the 2 schools he's representing.
Right.
So success not only weighs on him from them, and it's not necessarily put on him intentionally. That's just what comes with being part of Inferno and Futures. But you're the champ, you're 10-0,
right,
and you're representing those two teams. Like, it's a lot,
right,
and that's what separates the greats from everybody else, is being able to block all that. Once those cage doors shut,
right,
like, being able to block all of that out,
right.
I mean, that's what really separates you.
And Aldo trying to go for that spin kick, but lost his footing, it seemed. There's the end of the first round. I mean, more of a feeling out process there in the first round. We saw some close glancing shots. Nothing too eventful, though. Now that feeling process out of the way, I expect the second round to be much different. We're going to see how these guys have, analyzed their opponent there in the first round and see what they're going to do to make those adjustments here in round 2. But, I mean, as we're saying, though, like, if that 10-0 weighs on Aldo's mind, you got to think, even if he does take a loss, he still has won over 90% of his fights. I mean, especially at such a young age, such an impressive talent, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing him in the UFC someday.
And so, on the flip side of that, knowing your opponent has that win streak is going to weigh on you, because you want to be the one to end that.
True, it's a very different idea.
It's a double-edged sword, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, because not only is it, can I knock off the undefeated king, or can I retain my perfect record? It's about the championship right now. That 150-pound title is on the line.
That means more than any record, any team.
It doesn't
behind
matter.
you. That's what matters.
Absolutely. You can have a reputation, but if you have the goal, your reputation will precede you. Nice shot there from Dominguez, but fires right back as Kent.
And it doesn't look like Kent's really exploiting this reach advantage that he has. He's really getting in close and allowing Aldo to get where he wants.
And, it may be a tactic even from Kent, because as we've seen from Dominguez, if he has that distance that he needs, he lets those feet fly, and they are dangerous.
Right.
So maybe closing that gap is part of his plan. And we're going to have to see if it works out for him at all. I mean, Dominguez starting to feel it a little bit, starting to throw a little bit more in succession. Kent firing off a little combo of his own there. Nice kick to the body, somewhat checked there from Kent.
And again, they're still filling each other out.
I was going to say, it seems like much of the first round.
There's a little bit more action, but still, because both of these fighters are both very experienced.
Right.
And so they're not going to go in there all willy-nilly just throwing for the win.
Right. I mean, in the amateur world, 17 combined fights between them is a lot. But Dominguez started to tee off right there. And big 360 punch coming there from Aldo. That's the first time I've seen that from him. Normally we get that spinning back fist, but that was impressive. 10 seconds left here in the second round. Aldo firmly in control seemingly in the second round. He's been teeing off a little bit more. Those punches and kicks have been coming quickly, more in succession. He's finding a good home on the body too. Started to go to work on the mid-body halfway through the second round there. And Dominguez's coach, Coach Rodriguez, pointing out to him, look, your opponent is breathing heavy. He's tired. You're not. Take a deep breath, and let's get this done.
And so Tyler Kent hasn't really been aggressing at all. He's really letting things happen and reacting to them. And sometimes that is the fight game, but when it's for the title, I mean, as safe as you want to be to make sure you don't make any silly mistakes, you really got to go in and show that you got to take it. Because at the end of the day, champions have an advantage for a reason. They're the champion's advantage. It's a real thing. As much as judges want to be as unbiased, unfair as unbiased and fair as possible. There's just a champion's advantage. It's natural, and you got to really come out and show them that you won this fight.
Absolutely. And, I mean, of course, the goal is never to leave it up to the judges, but in the case that it does, you have to show out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, cage doors are sealed. Round 3. Parry on the kick there from both. Tries to go for that head kick, closely checked. Catches him off his back foot. I mean, right now, Dominguez is kind of doing his thing. He's in his groove. He's finding his spots. He's not being overly aggressive, but he's also not being too patient. He seems like he's in his zone right now. He's doing his thing. He's just sticking and moving, sticking and moving. Nice shot to the body for Dominguez. Follows it up with another one and a huge spinning flurry combo. Kent tries to get Dominguez trapped in the corner, but circles out.
And like I said, Kent's not really exploiting this reach advantage that he has.
No.
Aldo's basically able to throw and land where he wants.
And Aldo's starting to find homes for those kicks, landing a couple unanswered in a row here. And again, still nothing from Kent.
And I'd be interested to hear what Kent's corner is telling him when these rounds end.
No, absolutely, because right now, I mean, it just seems like every time Kent tries to fire off on the offensive, Dominguez is giving him 5 punches for every one that he can land. 10 seconds left in round 3. Tries to go for the head kick, check there. Tries to go for the leaping head kick on the opposite side, check. Nice head movement from Dominguez. That's the end of round 3. And this is a championship, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be moving on to the 4th round of action. Under normal circumstances, it would just be 3, but championship on the line, we're going more. And this is really where the gas tank is tested, the cardio is tested. Hopefully, with the championship in mind, both of these fighters have been training for those 5 rounds.
And it doesn't look like Aldo's like feeling the rounds at all.
Aldo looks like this is another day of training for him. On the other hand, though, Kent is looking like he's starting to feel the wear and tear.
He's just being a little timid. He's being a little hesitant, is what it feels like.
And I don't want to say he's right to do so, but with the reputation of the Dominator, I mean, it's kind of hard not to be somewhat safe with everything. But, I mean, safe doesn't win championships, unfortunately. Both fighters getting a moment to get their breaths, get their bearings, get their instructions from their coaches. But now it's time for round 4. All right, here we go. Round 4.
Championship rounds.
Kent still seeming a bit shy. And unfortunately, it's a little too late to be shy. Nice inside leg kick from Dominguez. Both fighters a little bit hesitant right now, and there's Dominguez. As soon as Kent went to go make a move, Dominguez was all over it. Nice head movement to narrowly miss that big left hook. Firing off some knees. That cannot feel good on those quads of Kent. We get separation from our official here, and we are back inside the final minute of round 4. Nice body kick lands. And Dominguez fighting forward again, getting these shots landed. Doing a good job landing on the
closing
exchange.
the distance, wanting to end this. Smart by Tyler Kent to lock up and stop that onslaught from continuing.
Absolutely. Nice knee. And those knees might not seem like much, but each one digs into the base, the power of Kent, and each one scoring him more points. Final 10 seconds. Nice body kick lands. Tries to go for that big sweeping heel kick, narrowly misses. Good job to check that one by Kent. So we're going into the 5th and final round. This is the championship round right here. Once that round starts, we will know in 2 minutes or less if it will be and still or and new.
And it really seems like Tyler Kent has to come out and take this title from him at this point. He's not going to be gifted anything. He's not going to get any favors from any judges or anybody else. He's got to come in and really do his thing. He's been training for this. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he needs to do. It's just got to be coming in and doing it.
And I mean, that first round was really, really even, seemingly. But round 2, 3, and 4, the Dominator showed us why he has that name. He just started taking over in those rounds. And I mean, when you're looking at the scorecard, somebody who's been dominating a majority of the fight, it's going to be a unanimous decision most likely. So with that being said, Kent needs to really tap into everything he has right here, right now to get this victory. If he does not score this finish, the Dominator is going to carry on the way he does. And here we go. The cage doors are sealed. This is the 5th and final round. Championship implications. Gold on the line. Dominguez, Kent. Nice body kick there from Dominguez. Kent just doesn't have that sense of urgency. It's the 5th and final round, and he's down seemingly 3 rounds to 1. He needs to be firing on all cylinders here. He doesn't have time to wait around. If not, Dominguez is going to do what he does best and just pick him off. Head kick check there from Kent. Inside leg kick lands. You can see the welts on the quads.
I was fitting to say that. You can see them just starting to welt up. He's
huge
feeling
combo.
those.
And I mean, that can't feel good. Like, I talk about feeling something tomorrow.
Yeah, there's 2 things you feel in the morning. Kicks in the nuts and kicks in the legs. Both of them suck, I'll tell you that much.
And Kent is going to be feeling his leg tomorrow, and Abdon is going to be feeling it later. So.
It's amazing. Aldo does not seem to, as far as energy
Huge
goes.
Superman punch lands for Aldo Dominguez. That was a big right hand. I'm surprised that didn't drop 10.
It doesn't look like he's lost anything from his gas tank.
Huge body kick. Big right hand lands off the exchange. 10 seconds left. Dominguez is teeing off right now. He's not letting Kent walk away from this one. That's the end of the fight. And I think you and I both know how this fight is ending right here. The Dominator absolutely took control. Rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chalk it up. If somehow Tyler Kent gets the decision victory, I will quit forever. What a showing from the Dominator. Wow.
That was just a fight. That last 15, 20 seconds of that round, that made up for the entire fight. That was
I mean, wow.
Fireworks, that's for sure.
I mean, so far, it has been such a memorable night. Combat Quest Boxing 3 did not disappoint, and neither did the main event. I mean, what a showing. You could just see Futures MMA and Aldo Dominguez are just synonymous with championships and gold. Let's send you up now for the official announcement of our winner, and we're gonna find out. Is it Ann Still or Ann New?
After 5 rounds, the judges are in agreement. Your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the red corner, Aldo Dominguez.
And I think we knew that before the fight even finished. I mean, Dominguez was putting on an absolute clinic. And need I remind you guys, that means he is now 11-0. This has got to be one of the longest winning streaks in kickboxing history. I mean,
Definitely the longest winning streak in Vigilant history.
100%. And this is out of kickboxing, out of boxing, out of MMA. This has been the longest win streak out of all of them. I mean, wow, just what a performer. What a bright young talent with such a future ahead of him. Drape him in gold, give him all the titles. He's earned them all. I mean, look at that. The phrase draped in gold does not do it justice. I mean, such a bright future for the young dominator in Aldo Dominguez.
He's like Thanos, but with combat sports titles.
He's got the Infinity Stones. He's got 5 titles. Don't let him snap his fingers because he'll erase all of the competition. Forget half. He's taking it all. I mean, wow. Just an impressive showing from Aldo Dominguez, an impressive showing from Futures MMA as a whole here today, taking away multiple victories. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for Combat Quest Boxing 3. But do not go anywhere because Combat Quest 33 Road Trip 8 is coming your way. We had a lot of awesome fights on the night. We saw some Muay Thai kickboxing. We saw some traditional boxing. We've seen championships defended. We saw debuts. And we saw undefeated victories, undefeated records live on. Just like when Arlette Estrada went up to 2-0, you can chalk that up as another victory for Futures MMA on the night. And then we saw Steve Mendez get the TKO victory in a classic boxing matchup. And I mean, just a huge showing from him on his debut. And I mean, just a well-rounded event altogether. We do not want to just forget about all our sponsors and our friends who have made things like this possible. Thank you to the Sidney Byrne Davis Art Center for hosting this. We'll be right back with Combat Quest 33, but this has been El Segundo Luis Soto alongside the Fatty Daddy superstar Juice James. Remember to always stay vigilant.
We'd like to thank all you fans, our staff, the Sidney Byrne staff, our sound and production teams, our security, our sponsors, and most of all, our fighters, because each and every one of you, there is no Vigilant MMA without you guys. So again, thank you all for coming out. God bless each and every one of you, and let's go, Brandon. Thank you.